And one thing I wanted to start on. The idea would be that you're always in that middle of the thing, or
No.
you're following the little graph?
Well, the graph was new in CS3, which histogram, and this is awesome because it gives you the control over levels. Because the great thing about levels is that it has a histogram, so you can see where the information starts and ends. In this particular case, we have a nice full histogram here, so there's not much we're going to do there. But let me go back to this image because this image is a little flat. So if I go to curves here, let me now I got to just do an adjustment layer because I have other layers there. So if I go to curves here, I can see that my histogram it starts way in. So you can use that to give a little bit more contrast, and you can see whether you're going to be clipping information or not. And clipping information basically means if you're going in on a histogram, for instance, right now I'm taking any value from this point, which is let's say 245. So what came in on the image that was either 245 or higher, so 245 to 255, is now being compressed to 255. So there is a chance that I lost some information there. Now there is a new function in CS3 and CS4 called show clipping, which is great. This shows you what you're losing. It shows you where the information is being lost.
Yellow is?
Basically whatever, it goes from like white to has color, different color values to black. So whatever is the brightest color, which would be yellow here, is where you're losing the most information. Those are the areas being clipped. So this is a great check to see. First, visually, I can see, okay, what areas are being clipped, and I can chart it off and see, are those important information? Is that important information that I need to keep, or if I lose it, does it matter? Is it really information that matters in the image, or do I need to keep it? So that's a great new tool to see whether you can clip that information or not. A lot of people say that no, you can't clip the information. You have to always go to the very ends of the histogram and never go in on it. I don't agree with that because I think there are areas. Let's say you have lights in the image and they're blown out. They're already blown out. So you're seeing this huge peak of white because that's the areas. Yeah, but the rest of the image is maybe darker. Yeah, you can go in on those lights because that information is already gone.
Yeah.
And it's not important. The center of the light wouldn't be important unless the information was there and you wanted to keep it, but it's already pretty much gone. You can go in on it and you're not really losing anything. So any questions about curves? No? Oh, wow. Well, we're getting close to running out of time here. So anybody have any other questions about any other color correction tools, which I didn't really have time to go into today? No?
Well,
okay. There will be a second class that will go more into a lot of the other color tools and more in depth of actually doing corrections on images. Right. This is more of a fundamental class to kind of go in depth over some of the tools that I think a lot of people don't understand exactly a lot of these tools. So, but you had a question?
It's okay.
No, go ahead.
Well, no, it'll fall under the next thing, I think.
Okay. Well, if it's a simple question, I can just cover it now real quick.
Ask now.
Well, I was just wondering. It was basically like a how-to question, like when you're using the info palette, like what you want all the values to always be equal, or like depends on what you're going for, though, right?
It depends on what you're going for and what you're sampling. If you're
like, I know a lot of times you'll put points like in faces and
yeah.
different things. So, like,
well, if all values were equal, that would be a gray tone, right? So in a face, I don't want a gray face. So no, you don't want it equal. I will cover that more in depth next. I'll go over the different CMYK values for things, because ultimately, for most of our products, we are going to CMYK. So I'll be covering what values to look for in CMYK when
I know
go
you
through
feel
the
like
image.
sometimes like this color, like this needs to have more blue, or this person's face should
Yeah.
have more
Yeah.
green, or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we'll cover that more in depth next class. This class I really wanted to go into fundamentals, talk about color spaces, because I think a lot of people don't quite understand the differences between the color spaces, and a lot of these tools too. Like the curves, for instance. I think a lot of people don't understand how to use it and everything. Do you have a question?
No, I want to say it was very informative.
Oh, thank you.
Especially the
Thank you.
curves and the histogram at the same time.
Yeah.
And the multiple histogram, which I didn't know existed either.
Oh yeah,
for
yeah.
RGB.
And it is the multiple histograms. Seeing the RGB values, RGB histograms can be very useful, especially for color cast. You can see what areas are casting. If you're losing, or if you're peaking in certain color areas and stuff, it can be helpful. Now it is just a tool to basically evaluate the image, but it does help. So definitely.
Well, I have found just from observing what other professionals are doing,
Mhm.
I seem to have come to the conclusion that they enjoy hyper colors, hyper saturated, that you can take something, you make the sky even bluer than it was,
Yeah.
the water more turquoise than it was,
Yeah.
and now you get a really attractive image. But if you leave it natural and you're kind of very painterly with what you do, it just won't look as punchy as the commercial one next to you.
Yeah.
So
No, that's very true. You can definitely go too far with that, but especially when you go to press, because you are since RGB deals with light. Basically, the light is being directed right into your eye. It's and in CMYK, it's reflective, so it's being bounced off the paper of your eye. The actual prints tend to be more muted than what you're seeing on the screen. You're not getting those vibrant colors, so you have to compensate for that and make them even more vibrant before you print them, and then you'll get better results. Yeah.
What did you call it? Hyper real?
Hyper real,
When I
yeah,
first started it.
yeah. So thank you all for coming, and
Thank
next
you.
time we'll
Thanks
be
for having us
we'll go more into selective color balance. We'll go into actually correcting an image. Sorry I didn't get to your image today. But
It's okay.
We'll cover next
She's
time.
So excited.
She's
It's coming.
Yep, it's coming.
Can we get you to write us an action to convert to sRGB?